Hi people, Chilli here from Live Listen Erased. To the delight of many, 2021 is coming to a close. Thank fuck it's over, and we will never talk about it again. With the exception of the following, where I bring you a bonus episode with something that's never been done before. A top 10 list of 2021's best songs according to me. Yes, I know what you are thinking, and yes, I am not the first to do this, but I promise to bring a spicy mix to this. I'm sure you know how these things work, but just in case, this is not in any particular order, and links to these artists will be below. So, shall we begin? Number 10. Daniel Santiago featuring Eric Clapton, Open World. We start this list off with a very pleasant track, technically released as a single in late 2020, but we will ignore that because the album was released this year, so it still counts. Daniel Santiago is a musician out of Brazil and has been on the scene for 2 decades. I highly recommend listening to his albums Union and Open World, but note that not all tracks are in English. He takes his influences from traditional Brazilian music and English rock scene from the 70s and 80s, so working with Eric Clapton would have been a dream come true. This silky smooth song is just picturesque, which is an unusual adjective to describe a song, but I hope I got my point across. Seriously, listen to that guitar work. I feel like this is Good Guy Greg's theme song. This song could stop a tank from rolling through Tiananmen Square, and that bass line is just organically orgasmic. I introduced this song to Doz, and he instantly loved it too. It's a habit now to play this track before our podcast, and with a hook like this, can you blame us? Number 9. Mastodon, More Than I Could Chew. Man, I love me some Mastodon. This powerhouse of 4 are from Atlanta, but aren't the only ones on this area to grace this list. Grabbing my attention way back with the release Crack the Sky, I knew this band was destined for big things. And since recording that record in 2009, they have released 4 more albums, including their latest venture, Hushed and Grim, which dives into dealing with grief and loss. I have done a review on that album and even made another playlist on this, so to avoid retreading same territory, they will be in the details of the video below. This album had some very big tracks, including Tear Drinker, Pain with an Anchor, Sickle and Peace, and Bit Off More Than I Could Chew outshines these tracks. With its subtle build of an old film score sound and intro to the crashing guitar sounds that hit like a brick to the back that I knew Mastodon do so well. For me, this is a song that feels so akin to their sound, so it's really a no-brainer for old school fans to flock to this track. I mean, did you hear that riff? It is so intense. Even the further the track goes, the more it evolves and changes before returning to its original sound, even throwing in a guitar solo at the end. Is this more than you can chew? No? Didn't think so. Let's go to the next one. Number 8. Fear Factory, Fuel Injected Suicide Machine. 2020 was a mixed year for Fear Factory and their fans. Dino announced the release of a new album in 2021, however, the only original band member who was on all of their releases, the signature pipes of lead vocalist Burton C. Bell, would leave the band a month later. This left so many questions with the band and touring, but first up, would this album see the light of day? Luckily, Fear Factory's 10th album, Aggression Continuum, would drop in June this year, bringing that industrial and mecha metal we enjoy so much. And it also spewed a devilishly delightful track in Fuel Injected Suicide Machine, which paints an unusual image in my mind. Kinda like Futurama's Suicide Booth, except of course the V8 in front of it and the exhaust pipes pumping black smoke in the air. Dino would be playing on top of it like the guitarist from Mad Max. Am I the only one who thinks like this? Yeah, thought so. Anyway, this piece of dark derelict metal is brutal and ever so beautiful. Like a car accident, you can't turn your head away. You want to see it. You want to hear all of it. The drums are more on point than a Rolex, and of course the vocals are a perfect blend of screamed and spoken. This is the best song on the album and you can't change my mind. Number 7. Helloween, Skyfall. Germany has many power metal bands, but Helloween are one of the OGs, having been around since the 80s, and solidifying their existence with The Keeper of the Keys Part 1 and 2. Helloween and their Pumpkins United lineup have had a solid release this year with their self-titled album, and while Best Time was a cracker track, it can't be beaten by this epic of a song about aliens visiting Earth to see Helloween. Power metal typically deals in the fantasy regions, but this transition to sci-fi has been handled incredibly well by the band. Where most bands would throw in more synthetics than a Thai plastic surgeon, these guys avoided it. I mean, they could have, but it would have risked sounding like another Kilroy Was Here record. Instead, the song has enough movements in 15 minutes to make Dream Theater take note. And I wonder if they did with their opener on their recent album. Who did it better? Let me know. Number 6. Thank You Scientist, Creature Comfort. Thank You Scientists are a bloody old lot. The last time violins were part of a metal band might have been with Jethro Tull, and I use the term metal band as loosely as Morals in a Cardi B song. No, none of that. Maybe that song will feature on Todd in the Shadow's top 10 list of 2021 coming out mid next year. But eagerly awaiting. But no, today we talk about this eclectic lot from New Jersey and their mix of lounge act meeting Mr. Bungle level metal on the song Creature Comfort from their EP, Plague Accommodations. This is such a lit EP, and if you love unusual, then I can't recommend these guys highly enough. From the start, it's sure to lure unsure listeners into a false lull before the drums pound away, and that riff opens up the song to its web of chaos. Eclectic guitars and thick, luscious bass lines are plenty in this song, and that last solo is just pure ecstasy for the ears. One of the best bands I have had the luck of stumbling across.
Number 5.
Between the Buried and Me, Sfumato, Human as Hell, another one with love. If you thought the last band was chaotic, then Between the Buried and Me are the same chaotic energy mixed in a blender with a real dense metal. You know, to make it heavy. They're heavier, okay? That's the point I am making. No violins, but instead some occasional screams. Fans of Between the Buried and Me should check out Thank You Scientist and vice versa, as there are some common grounds. Now then, Between the Buried and Me are from North Carolina and have been on the scene since the year 2000. The song from this album, Colors 2, is actually a follow-up to their fourth album, also named Colors. I have included 2 tracks from this record, however, as the first one, Sfumato, serves as an intro for the main track, the 15-minute epic album closer, Human is Hell. The guitar work with their hammer-on and hammer-off opening is insanely catchy, and the song is brutal the further you get into it, as it shifts constantly like sand in a desert. Once you get familiar with a part of the song shifts styles a few bars later. Maybe some don't like this style, or maybe they'll find it insane, and I'll admit it does push the prog rock envelope for sure, but like someone once said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's like the world is on a diagonal, and this album is the balancing point. If you get that reference, then good work. Number 4. Spiritbox, Constance. I would have hated to be an emergent musician in recent times. The age-old method of record, release, tour and repeat was flipped upside down and replaced with online streams of recording sessions and vocal covers of your songs or guitar lessons on how to play your songs. To be fair, the scene was already shifting before lockdown, but watching Spiritbox in action illuminated just how far it has come. The band has a great online presence with a tremendous community and core following, and they deserve this and more for their hard work, of course. The fans are drawn to them because they are bringing the good. Their newest release, Eternal Blue, featured a killer track in these tenuous times. Of course, the subject matter of Constance, which is about Alzheimer's, doesn't make for easy listening, but it's like a weight being lifted off your shoulders after listening to it and unpacking. I would be surprised if there was a dry eye after anyone watched their music video, and many YouTube reaction channels focused on this song purely because of this powerful video clip. Musically, it starts off graceful as ever, like in the prime of youth, before being hit hard by the crushing riff that resonates emotively as confusion and serves perfectly for a sense of this feeling, even if it is fleeting. Of course, there is an opening where it goes back to a quiet start before the build-up, and the final parts of the song that crash around are just majestic and fittingly so. This song is great, and I can't wait to see what these guys will do next. Number 3. The Killers, West Hills. The Killers are a household name now, and we have covered them both in the 5 Minute Review as well as on our second ever Live Listen Erased podcast, where they were against the Vines and Foo Fighters. These guys have had one hell of a career so far, storming the gates with their first album, Hot Fuss. Without a doubt, these lads have cemented their legacy with a flurry of amazing records, and their latest album, Pressure Machine, is no exception. They may have dropped or outgrown their indie rocker moniker and adapted a more American rock sound, and this is probably due to working with the boss, aka Bruce Springsteen, on the Dustland single recently. They are also slated to be touring with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band in 2022, and that will be an amazing tour. But enough about the premise of this. You are curious why amongst this mix of mostly metal, this is here. Well, surely you would have heard the intro before I started this rant and felt that relaxing, somber notes fill your soul. This song just feels like a warm breeze gliding through long grass. The song is harrowing and a stark comparison to the music as it talks about the drug problems most likely in small town areas and the issues with mandatory sentencing. Like I said before, this album is well worth a listen, and this opening track is one hell of an intro. If you search up the album, please note there are 2 versions. One album is the abridged and the other is the standard. The only difference is the standard release has audio recordings before each song giving an insight or story before going into the tracks. Kind of like an audio commentary, but it's not done by anyone from the band, more like interviews with various people. The abridged version of the album just removes this and leaves the songs only. Either way is fine for listening to this album, but if you want to be more in depth with the album and the subject matter, I would highly recommend listening to the standard version. Number 2. AYRON Jones, Take Me Away. AYRON Jones is one serious force to be reckoned with. I don't even know what to say about this bewildering axeman. This guy was noticed by the king of blues himself, B.B. King. To say his path has been an easy one would be a lie, and this song discusses his path all the way from the beginning as a child. Born in Seattle, Washington around the same time grunge was being born, he was adopted by his aunt who raised him on gospel music, which instilled this taste of music for his later career. His sound is a blend of many genres including blues, rock, and even grunge amongst others. The lead single from his first album may have technically dropped late last year, but that doesn't count when the album was released this year, and we covered this in a 5-minute review. It did reach number 5 in the US mainstream rock chart, and for good reason. The song itself starts off with a Top Gear-esque sounding opening riff before being pummeled by the true riff. It's noteworthy to mention my first time hearing this song, I thought Tom Morello was a guest appearance, but I was impressed to say I was very wrong. There are no guest guitarists here, just AYRON Jones, incorporating every legendary guitar style from Hendrix to Cobain in this one song. Just insane. From this lonesome place. Before we announce the final spot, let's see a few bonus songs that just missed the list.
Singing this way for so long, riding through this storm.
Number 1. Amazonia. Taking it back to the album that inspired the 5-minute reviews here with the French heavy metalists and gods of sludgy riffs with complicated drum patterns. I may have been late to this party, but I will enjoy every fucking moment I can. As I mentioned, GOJIRA are a French band that have somewhat shot up through obscurity, mostly with their 2005 album From Master Sirius. They are a band that has yet to have released a bad album, with each release showing a melding of styles to produce a signature sound that is hard to do now. This spot was almost taken out by another track of theirs, the more accessible song Another World, but I felt Amazonia was a better choice. As I mentioned in my first episode, the song is about Amazonian fires that took place in 2019, and it respects the country of Brazil by using local instruments in the song. What I didn't mention, however, was how the band feel more passionate when singing this song. Its riff just pummels you with an unstoppable force, wildly moving like a fire while the precise drums are played over. Even the vocal delivery hints at a range of anger and bitter disappointment within Joe's delivery of the lines. This fire in the sky, you're in the Amazon, is burning to the ground. This song has the ability to walk in two worlds. The first is its message within the song. The second is that the song still hits all the right notes to be a fucking standout track. I would like to end this video by thanking every one of my new subscribers. We are a new channel, so everyone who likes and subscribes, it means a lot. It keeps me going, and I want to put out more material for you guys to enjoy. I hope that you have enjoyed our material throughout this year, and please comment below with what songs you thought I had left off this track, and please like and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't already for more music related materials. Check us out on our Twitter and Instagram at Live Listen Erase for more music conversations, and of course, I hope you have a great holidays and stay spicy.